Tired of noisy, crowded, and overpriced cities? What if you could escape it all, somewhere quieter, wilder, and more beautiful than you ever imagined? In this video, we'll reveal 10 of the most stunning and secluded places to live in America, where nature rules, the skies are endless, and life slows down to your pace. Number 10. Gualala, California. What if you could live in a place where the fog paints your mornings, the waves hum your afternoons, and the town feels like a well-kept secret whispered by the sea? Welcome to Gualala, a coastal village on Northern California's Mendocino-Sonoma border, where the Gualala River slips quietly into the Pacific. The name itself, Shawalali, from the Kashaya Pomo, means where the water goes down, echoing its timeless flowing spirit. Once a bustling logging outpost in the 1800s, Gualala has long since traded its sawmills for sketchbooks, evolving into a sanctuary of stillness, creativity, and coastal soul. Main Street holds the texture of history and art. Weathered cedar storefronts, ocean view cafes, and galleries filled with driftwood sculptures and paintings that seem to still carry the salt in their brushstrokes. You'll find more than charm here. You'll find character. Just north of town, the historic Milano Hotel, built in 1905 by an Italian immigrant, still stands strong on the cliffs, having survived the 1906 quake and countless coastal storms. Gualala is the kind of place where deer wander like locals. Fog drapes the redwoods like a stage curtain, and traffic pauses for squirrels on fence posts. At the Gualala Arts Center, creativity spills beyond walls into outdoor workshops, forest concerts, and poetry circles under towering trees. And nearby, Gualala Point Regional Park offers more than scenic trails. It's a landscape archive of Pomo roots, logging lore, and raw, wind-swept bluffs. The rhythm here slows for special moments. Fall's Mushroom Festival brings together foragers, chefs, and fungi folklore, while Plein Air Weekend sees artists painting sea cliffs in real time, their easels standing like prayer altars along the shoreline. Even the costs feel calibrated for calm. Homes range from $550,000 to $650,000. Rent averages around $1,600 a month, and groceries hover near $400 per person. And don't be surprised if your favorite lunch is a slice of wild berry pie or a plate of grilled artichokes paired with a glass of Anderson Valley wine. Gualala doesn't need to shout. It just shows up, fog-draped, salt-laced, and quietly unforgettable. Number 9. Ely, Minnesota. Imagine a place where you trade traffic noise for loon calls, where your morning commute might be a canoe slipping into a misty lake, and the silence is so full it feels sacred. That's Ely. Tucked into Minnesota's northernmost forests, on the doorstep of the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness, Ely is less a town and more a portal into story, into silence, into the still wild corners of America that haven't forgotten how to breathe. Long before the mining boom of the 1800s, this land was Ojibwe territory, and the waterways were ancient highways. French explorer Jacques de Noyon paddled through in 1688, following the same birch bark canoe routes that still define Ely's geography. And while iron ore shaped the town's industrial rise in the late 19th century, it's the water that endured. Today, with just over 3,200 residents, Ely feels intimate. You're never far from a lake. Over 1,100 are reachable from town by canoe, portage, or pure curiosity. The Echo Trail winds out from town like a ribbon through the trees, offering scenic pullouts and moments that make you stop and just listen. Living here is surprisingly affordable. Median home prices hover around $200,000, with newer listings rising toward $350,000 as word spreads. Rent averages about $1,000, and groceries sit near $300 per person monthly. Easy to manage even with a few extra packs of granola and jerky for your next trail adventure. The town itself is sprinkled with unexpected color. The old post office still boasts hand-painted New Deal murals. The Dorothy Moulter Museum preserves the story of the legendary root beer lady who refused to leave her island in the wilderness, making homemade soda for paddlers until 1986. Her old bottles, hand-painted signs, and even the oars from her cabin are on display. Then there's the wild itself. The North American Bear Center and International Wolf Center offer up-close encounters with ambassador animals and immersive exhibits that blur the line between learning and wonder. Kids leave convinced they've met legends. Adults leave changed. Number 8. Sandpoint, Idaho. At first glance, Sandpoint feels like the kind of place you'd pass through on your way to somewhere bigger, but linger a little longer, stand still by the vast, shimmering edge of Lake Pend Oreille, and you'll realize this isn't a stopover, it's the destination. Tucked into northern Idaho and framed by the Selkirk and Cabinet Mountains, Sandpoint strikes an uncanny balance: wilderness and espresso, small-town ease, and unexpected edge. With a population just under 9,000, it's cozy, but not sleepy. You might spot someone stepping off a trailhead into a downtown cafe, brushing off pine needles before ordering a huckleberry latte. And the lake? More than scenery. During World War II, the Navy secretly used Pend Oreille for submarine acoustic testing, its massive depth and clarity perfect for silence and secrets. Today, it's a place for paddling, stargazing, and maybe, if you're lucky, catching a glimpse of the strange glowing lights some swear still dance across the water at night. Culture thrives here in unexpected ways. The Pineda Theater, a 1927 vaudeville relic turned indie art house, screens films and hosts stage plays in equal measure. Just blocks away, the festival at Sandpoint brings in symphonies, indie legends, and singer-songwriters to a lakeside stage every August. Some years, you'll find people listening from kayaks, drifting under stars. In winter, Schweitzer Mountain awakens with skiers and boarders, while the Winter Carnival paints town nights with bonfires and ice sculptures. There's taste here too: handmade berry pies, sushi burritos from a waterfront shack, and strong, smoky espresso from roasters like Evans Brothers Coffee. Local foodies swear by huckleberry scones and backcountry brewpubs where elk burgers meet craft IPAs. Living here doesn't come with big city prices, but it's not bargain basement either. Median home values range between $600,000 and $650,000, and rent typically sits between $1,000 and $1,250 per month. Groceries hover around $325 to $350 per month, just slightly above national averages. Worth it, considering the quality of local markets and farm access. Number 7. Pahoa Hawaii. Just beyond the buzz of Maui, tucked along the start of the Hana Highway, Pahoa feels like a different kind of Maui. It's not polished with resort sheen or crowded with tourist buses. Instead, it's barefoot, bohemian, and full of salt-kissed color, where windsurfers share the road with artists. With a population of just under 2,500, Pahoa is a small coastal village with big personality. Once a bustling sugar plantation town in the early 1900s, it's since evolved into a laid-back haven for surfers, yoga teachers, musicians, and wanderers who never made it to Hana because they fell in love right here. The Pahoa Elementary School, built in 1909, still anchors the community with its plantation-era charm, standing as a reminder of the town's deep roots. But Pahoa lives in the now. Along Baldwin Avenue, colorful storefronts spill into the streets, surf shops, vintage record stores, art galleries, and cafes offering acai bowls and fresh-caught poke. There are no high-rise hotels, no chain restaurants. Just a breeze that carries salt and incense, and people who walk slow because they're not in a rush to be anywhere else. Its crown jewel, Ho'okepa, often called the windsurfing capital of the world. The waves here aren't for the timid, and the wind pulls in champions from across the globe. Mornings belong to the waves, evenings to barefoot sunset walks, and the in-between to ocean watching and juice bar lounging. Living in Pahoa comes with a high price tag, but many say it's worth it. Homes often list between $1 million and $1.5 million, while monthly rent hovers around $2,200 to $2,400. Groceries tend to land near $600 per person, a reflection of both island shipping and the town's preference for fresh, locally grown food. But in Pahoa, it's not just about cost, it's about rhythm, community, and always being close to the ocean. Festivals bring the community together. The Pahoa Bay Beach Fest celebrates youth bodyboarding with family energy and ocean respect. The Mantokuji Obon Festival lights up summer with traditional lanterns, drums, and dance at the local Buddhist temple. Add in the Brazil Festival and Aumakua Kava Market, and you'll find a cultural mix that's both uniquely Hawaiian and globally warm. Number 6. Westport, Washington. Long before docks and fishing charters, the Chehalis tribes paddled these waters, smoking salmon by sea-facing longhouses. The ocean spoke, and in Westport, it still does. Perched at the southwestern edge of the Olympic Peninsula, Westport is a town shaped by salt, wind, and the stubborn pull of the Pacific. Originally settled by Americans in 1858 as Peterson's Point, it was renamed Westport in 1890 after Cornelius Patterson planted orchards and cattle on this wave-lashed finger of land. But it didn't take long for the sea to reclaim its story. Logging gave way to fishing, and Westport became what it is now, a working harbor with weathered hands and a quietly romantic heart. You can feel it on the docks, gulls circling over crates of Dungeness crab, and the air thick with diesel, kelp, and black coffee. The Westport Marina, one of the largest on the Washington coast, launches whale-watching tours, deep-sea charters, and clam hunts that fill coolers and stories alike. Along the harbor, seafood shacks serve fried oysters, boat-fresh salmon, and chowder that steams through fog like a small miracle. Further inland, Westport's rhythm is just as tethered to the sea. The Grays Harbor Lighthouse, built in 1898 and still standing proud at 107 feet, is the tallest lighthouse in the state. Its 8-sided tower now open for tours through Westport Light State Park. Trail systems curl through dunes, where bird watchers spot bald eagles and long-billed curlews dancing with the wind. Despite its seaside charm, Westport remains refreshingly affordable. Median home prices sit between $280,000 and $320,000. Rent hovers around $900 to $1,100, and groceries, though slightly above average at $350 per month, still come with the bonus of daily dockside catches. This is Westport's fresh catch culture. Buy it from the guy who caught it, clean it while the tide's still moving. Every August, the Washington Tuna Classic turns the docks into a festival of fishtails and friendly rivalry. And by 2026, Westport will unveil the nation's first publicly funded vertical tsunami shelter, a bold steel tower rising beside the elementary school. Proof that this humble town knows how to prepare, not just dream. Before we move on, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel. Your dream town could be up next. Number 5. Greenbank, West Virginia. There's a town where your phone goes silent, and not because the battery died. In Greenbank, West Virginia, silence isn't just golden, it's the law. Tucked deep in the Allegheny Mountains, population 143, Greenbank is the quietest town in America. Not metaphorically, literally. It sits inside the 13,000 square mile National Radio Quiet Zone, where cell towers are banned, Wi-Fi is heavily restricted, and even microwave ovens are discouraged. Why? Because this is home to the Greenbank Telescope, the largest fully steerable radio telescope in the world, so sensitive it can detect the faint hum of galaxies light years away. A single wireless signal could drown out a cosmic whisper, and yet, for all its space-age science, Greenbank feels more like a town gently paused in time. Kids still attend a single-room schoolhouse. There's no stoplight, no Starbucks, no neon hum in the background. On weekends, neighbors gather for potlucks, local baseball games, or stargazing nights beneath skies so dark the Milky Way looks close enough to touch. But don't mistake quiet for dull. This is a place where wildcrafting is still a way of life. Locals gather ramps, mushrooms, mountain laurel, and ginseng on hikes that double as grocery runs. The food is mountain-rich and seasonal. Venison stew, wild onion fry bread, and hand-picked berries that stain your fingers before they hit the pie crust. And for all its uniqueness, living here is refreshingly affordable. Homes range from $130,000 to $160,000. Rent averages about $700, and groceries come in around $270 per person. The crisp mountain air means lower energy bills too, cool summers, wood stoves in winter, and no need to blast the AC or fight the heat. Greenbank also attracts an unusual set of newcomers, people with electromagnetic hypersensitivity, electrosensitives, who've left cities behind because cell signals make them physically ill. They come here for the stillness, for relief. So do tech-fatigued wanderers seeking a true digital detox, where GPS can't track them and nothing buzzes but the bees. The town has its quirks too. Ask about the radio patrol, officials who drive high-tech trucks hunting rogue electronics like Ghostbusters for static. One family had to retire their microwave. Another was asked to unplug their baby monitor. It sounds dystopian, but in Greenbank, it's just another Tuesday. Number 4. Escalante, Utah. There's one road in, and once you take it, everything slows. The landscape stretches wide and ancient. The air thins. And by the time you hit the heart of Escalante, just under 800 residents, 0 traffic lights, and infinite red rock, you'll swear your pulse has synced with the desert. Life here starts early, usually with trail dust in your boots and a burrito in hand. At yonder Escalante, a restored 1950s motor lodge turned hiker haven. Food trucks serve warm breakfast wraps, fresh yogurt, and desert fruit for trekkers heading out to the slots. This isn't just a fuel-up town, it's a base camp for awe. And the cost of entry? Surprisingly low. Median home prices sit around $250,000, with older listings still slipping under $200,000. Rent averages $800 to $850 a month. Groceries hover near $310 per person. It's one of the most affordable towns in Canyon Country, especially when you're trading concrete for cathedral cliffs. Just beyond town, the Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument unfolds like a dreamscape cracked open. Slot canyons shimmer like amber ribs. Petrified forests whisper in fossil stillness. Trails like Devil's Garden and Zebra Canyon don't just lead somewhere, they transform you along the way. You'll return with sunburned cheeks, stilled thoughts, and stories too strange to retell. But Escalante isn't only about wilderness, it's a place of craft and care. Chefs, artists, and guides have rooted themselves here, drawn not just by beauty, but by a sense of guardianship. Hell's Backbone Grill, a nationally celebrated farm-to-table restaurant run by 2 activist chefs, champions conservation as much as cuisine. Their menus are written in heirloom kale and ancient grain, grown in the same soil where ancestral Puebloans once cultivated crops 11,000 years ago. The town hums with soft rituals. At Escalante Canyon's art festival, plein-air painters line the cliffs like sentinels. Open-air poetry fills the dusk with verse. In quiet cafes, gear shops, and tiny galleries, trail stories are traded like currency. It's not performative, it's presence. Number 3. Big Sky, Montana. What happens when the horizon refuses to stop and the stars feel close enough to pluck from the sky? That's Big Sky, Montana. With just under 3,600 residents, this high-elevation town between Bozeman and Yellowstone lives up to its name in every direction. Mountains don't just surround it, they shape it. Trails wind through pine forests, wildlife roams near backyards, and the sky is so vast it feels like you're floating beneath it. In winter, it's a skier's dream. Big Sky Resort spans 5,800 acres, with terrain so vast that lift lines are a myth and powder feels personal. Lone Mountain towers like a snow-covered cathedral, and the tram to its summit isn't just a ride, it's an experience that leaves even seasoned skiers speechless. Summer is no less magical. The pace slows, trails bloom, and the air hums with music and mountain wind. Music in the mountains turns Thursdays into starlit camp-out concerts. July's Big Sky Artisan Festival lines trails with leatherwork, pottery, and wildflowers. And just beyond town, under the big sky, transforms a 350-acre ranch into a multi-day Americana and bluegrass festival where bare feet, banjos, and sunsets collide. Despite its upscale reputation, Big Sky keeps a grounded charm. You'll find espresso bars with high-altitude roasts, vintage ski shops full of character, and a general store that still feels like the town's heart. Elk and moose roam close enough to be neighbors, and just minutes away, Ousel Falls Trail offers a gentle hike to a roaring, picture-perfect waterfall. Of course, this kind of beauty comes with a price. Median home values sit around $1.2 million. Rent for a two-bedroom averages $2,000, and groceries run about $350 per person each month. But people don't move to Big Sky to save. They move here to feel. Community events bring the town to life. Big Sky Pride gathers thousands in a colorful celebration of love and identity, while Oktoberfest delivers bratwurst, craft beer, and dancing under golden aspen leaves. And if you're truly bold, there's the Rut, a grueling ultramarathon over high-altitude ridges. But you don't have to run 50K to fall in love here. Sometimes, all it takes is looking up and standing still. Number 2, Angel Fire, New Mexico. They say the name Angel Fire came from a glow, fiery lights flickering over the mountains at dusk, mistaken by early Ute tribes for spirits in the sky. Centuries later, that glow still lingers. Whether it's the sun hitting Wheeler Peak or something stranger drifting over Monte Verde Lake at night, the air here still shimmers with mystery. At nearly 8,600 feet above sea level, Angel Fire doesn't just sound poetic, it feels it. Tucked into New Mexico's Sangre de Cristo Mountains, this alpine village of just over 1,100 residents moves to the rhythm of wind through pines, snow on the roofs, and wild silence broken only by elk calls or the soft hum of chairlifts. Living here isn't free, but for a mountain town with this kind of beauty, it's refreshingly within reach. Homes typically range from $450,000 to $520,000. Rent for a two-bedroom hovers between $800 and $1,200, and monthly groceries fall around $300 to $350. Utilities stay steady year-round, thanks to the region's cool, dry climate. It's high-altitude living without the ego or the price tag. Angel Fire was built for the slopes. Developed in the 1960s as a ski resort, it's grown into a year-round sanctuary. In winter, over 500 acres of skiable terrain welcome families, locals, and thrill-seekers alike. The tubing hill, terrain parks, and ranger-led snow tours feel more personal than polished, more fireside than flashy. And in lodge cafes, you'll find comfort food with a New Mexico twist, green chile stew, and loco moco-style breakfasts that warm you to your boots. But when the snow melts, the town doesn't sleep. It transforms. Lodge patios become trailhead meetups. Golf carts glide across alpine fairways at the country's second highest altitude course. Monte Verde Lake glows with paddleboards and trout lines. And if you're up early enough, locals will point you to Eagle Peak for a dawn hike, where the whole valley catches fire with light. And then there's the art. The Angel Fire Art and Wine Festival blends adobe brick painting with live music, chili pepper tastings, and booths nestled beneath the pines. It's more than an event. It's a reflection of the town's creative pulse, which beats quietly but steadily year-round. Number 1. Westcliffe, Colorado. What if the best place to catch your breath wasn't a getaway, but a tiny town called Westcliffe? Quiet, majestic, and undisturbed. Tucked nearly 8,000 feet high in Colorado's wet mountain valley and cradled between the jagged Sangre de Cristo and gentler wet mountains, this town of just over 400 feels like a place time didn't forget, it just respected. Originally founded in 1881 as a Denver and Rio Grande Railroad stop, Westcliffe grew from cattle runs and silver dreams. The tracks are long gone, but Main Street still wears its history with pride. Restored 19th century facades, creaking wooden porches, and hitching rails that now host bikes instead of Broncos. Ranchers still pass through town at dawn, and star watchers arrive at dusk, pulled by a sky that rarely closes its eyes. And that sky? It changed everything. In 2022, Westcliffe and its sister town, Silvercliff, were named Colorado's first international dark sky community, and at the highest elevation of any in the world. Now, the Milky Way doesn't just appear here, it defines the night. At the Smoky Jack Observatory, monthly star parties draw locals and visitors alike for telescope viewings, storytelling, and campfire conversations. Weekly lectures bring astronomy down to earth, while Bluff Park, above town, becomes a nightly pilgrimage spot where neighbors sit in silence, watching the sky bloom with stars. And yet, the magic doesn't end at the edge of night. Life in Westcliffe is grounded and full of ritual. Mornings begin with coffee from the Corner Cafe, where ranch boots crunch gravel outside and handmade quilts hang beside art prints. The weekend farmers market overflows with fresh eggs, alpine honey, and hand-woven blankets. The single-screen Jones Theater still plays indie films and local productions, tucked beneath a marquee that glows softly against the night. Living here isn't just possible, it's surprisingly practical. Homes average around $450,000, with some listings reaching towards $600,000. Rent hovers near $1,200. Groceries cost around $300 a month, a reflection of a valley that still grows much of its own. And the luxury? That's free. Sunrises over Grape Creek, hikes to alpine lakes, and a ceiling of stars you can almost touch. We hope you enjoyed today's journey. Next up is an amazing video we think you'll love. As always, thanks for watching.